Traders, quick recap from yesterday. 1 second. All right, traders, quick recap. Yesterday, took one trade. My one and only trade um, was not even really a C trade, C minus trade. It was a simple as this. It was a boredom trade. Took the trade out of boredom. Um, I took this trade. This right here tells you everything about that. The time. I took this trade at 11:40. My first and only trade was at 11:43 a.m. Eastern Time. That's basically noon. So that in itself is a bad sign when my only opportunity or when your only opportunity or the first opportunity that you see happens well after 10 a.m. It's usually not a good sign for the overall market. And you probably should be stepping away, and that's what I should have done. That's one thing I have to outline. I've outlined many rules. I got a lot of rules, a lot of restrictions, limitations on myself, but one I have not implemented, which I need to, is a cutoff time. So, meaning, no matter what happens after a certain time, I have to get off. Most days I do that. Most days, if I especially when I have a winner, I'll get away from the computer. I'll get away from the stock market after like 10:30, no more than 10:30. But some days I find myself just sitting around if I haven't taken a trade and just trying to find a trade, trying to be productive. I look at it as I'm trying to make some type of production for the day. But one thing you have to learn, and one thing I have learned, I'm just being hard headed with it, is you just move how the market moves. You can't determine what your outcome of that day is going to be. You just go with whatever the market gives you. If the market gives you $1,000 play that day, then that's what you get. If the market doesn't want to give you anything, or just go sideways, or doesn't meet your strategy for that day, you may have one particular strategy and you just don't see it that day. Well, you just have to go with that flow, and that's what I should have did yesterday. But anyway, long story short, one trade and one loser. Um, it was a $45 loss before commissions. After commissions, I think it was $57 total. So therefore, my equity really, once it updates, is gonna go down to like 580, 580, 579. But I'll take it right now. I'll take the equity right here, right now, because that will help me. That give me a little more leverage on any trade I take today, and just hopefully, obviously, it goes green. If it goes red, then I'll be down $57 plus. So anyway, um, that's what was I gonna say? Yep. So anyway, I took a trade on IMMY. It really wasn't anything there. I'll tell you honestly, and I knew it before I went in the trade. I pretty much knew it wasn't anything there. Um, but just out of just wanting to get into something, I just said, hey, let me go in here, and then I set myself a 6 cent risk, and then a 10 cent profit target. So I'm like, hey, the worst thing I could do is lose 6 cents. So, but what happened is I set it at 6 cent, which was, as you can see, 48. It got accepted. You can see it got accepted. I had a stop loss at 48. But for some reason, you get slippage. Even with this little amount of shares, sometimes you get slippage. So you have to, keep that in mind when you have an exact stop loss in mind, because sometimes, and a lot of times for me, it does not stop on exactly that. And sometimes that's even on the good side, like when you got a stop to buy at a profit target. I've been in situations where I had it at let's say 53 or whatever. I'll just say 350. You know, I'm long at 340 and I have it set to get me out at 350. Sometimes it's got me out, because the stock moves up so quick, got me out like 365. So sometimes it's good on the good side too. You get slippage on both sides, but just be aware that you can and will get slippage. So factor that into your totals when you're thinking about your profit losses and max losses and stop losses and all those things, because sometimes it's not going to be exact. So anyway, my total would go down to 579. What I was going to say about that is, see, that's one thing you have to look out for as well. When you are um, especially in a small account, and especially with, I'm not saying Street Trade has the highest fees, but when you add everything up, a round trip trade is about close to $15, about $15. They say 4.95 per trade in and out. Yes, for commissions, but then they have ECN fees and like three or four other little regulatory fees per trade. So anyway, you have to factor that into. So you're basically already at a disadvantage. So I say all that to say that's why it's important to really only focus on A plus trades. You know what I mean? So therefore, your likelihood of success is way through the roof, because you need that extra probability. You need the extra percentage points of success, especially when you're down at this level, because you have to overcome not only a low equity but commissions. So even if you make $100, if you took two trades out, say, that's over $30 taken off of that. So you're down to like $70, $60 of profit. You know what I mean? When you would have had 100. But now on the flip side, when you lose, you can lose $20, but the commission will take you to 50 some dollars. So it's definitely, you have to keep that in mind. So that's why it's important not to overtrade and just jumping into every little thing or everything you see. Try to make sure you find A plus setups, and A plus setups is defined by you. Um, let's get that understood. That's everybody has their own criteria for A plus setup. I tell you, my advice on that is a lot of screen time. That's the best thing gonna help you. That's what helped me. It's the only way I can really know what an A plus setup is, and when something is similar to an A plus setup but it's not an A plus setup. This stuff comes with time and watching over and over and over how the market works and what it does in certain situations, and I can get into that on a later video, explaining some strategies I use. Um, but yeah, all in all, like I said, I took one trade. It was one loser. Shouldn't have took it. It was a boredom trade. I took it at 11:43. That's the biggest red flag of it all. Is that my first and only trade was that late. Should have shut it down at like 11:30 at the latest. I would say 11. Really, you should be shutting it down. Well, I should have been shutting it down. But anyway, gonna get back to it today. Going for I got to get back to A setups, no less than B. I would say B. I'll settle for a B because right now the market is a little slow in the small caps. So you gotta you gotta adapt. But at the same time, don't stray too far away from your rules and your strategies. You may stray a little bit if it works. I mean, if it's something you've seen before, but try to stick to your strategy as much as possible. Alrighty, I will keep you guys updated. If I make a trade today, I'll do a recap in the morning. If I trade in a pre-market here, you'll see that live. Alright, but I'll be on here until about 8:45 a.m. It's 7:55. And then otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh yeah, like and subscribe if you want to keep up with this journey. Because the first target for my equity is $1,000. Um, I originally wanted to make it that the end of this week. and it's still possible. I actually seen a trade yesterday. It got away from me, so I didn't take it. But it was a trade I wanted to take, and I actually was watching it. But what happened was it just jumped too fast, and I like to have a risk level. You should always have a risk level, meaning your max loss. So by the time when a bell opened, this first candle, see it jumped from 6 to 7.26 to over $7.20 in one candle. You know what I mean? So now, if you set your risk, say at the bottom of this candle, that's a whole $1.20 risk. That was just too much for me, man. It just was too much. I would have gotten in this if it would have jumped from say 6 to 6.50 or something, then I would have set it at the bottom of this candle here. I would have took a 50 cent risk. I would have just went in like 100 shares. You know what I mean? So that'll just make a $50 loss, worst case scenario. Um, but yeah, it just jumped way too fast, way too fast. I mean, but if you're good, shout out to the Rosses of the world and everybody else that mastered these types of setups and fast moving setups. If you can catch it, it's a lot of money to be made here. And I actually seen it. I watched it as it happened, but I was not gonna pull a trigger. I have to have a safe distance of a risk level. You know what I mean? It can't be way too far away from it. And I'm not just jumping in stocks, just jumping in them. Some people do that and it works because maybe they know exactly what they're looking for and know when to, looking at the price action and all of that good stuff and can tell what's going on better. But for my strategy, yeah, I need a good stop area, so that's why I didn't get into here. If I would have, let's talk the if ends like we. That's the exciting thing to do, even though it doesn't get you anywhere. I'm just gonna, for excitement purposes, if I were to catch it, oh man, from this six, oh man, it would have been $1,000 a day, easily $1,000 a day, even if I would have got 500 shares. You know what I mean? It jumped up almost $2. It jumped up from $6 to $8. So that's $2. So at 500 shares, that would have been $1,000 easily. So yeah, you gotta keep this stuff in mind. So I'm definitely working on some things to try to master and learn these strategies to be able to capture these types of moves because it's a lot of meat in those moves. But anyway, I've been blabbering on this morning, but I hope you guys got some kind of information out of it. Again, if you'd like to keep up with updates, as my journey continues, getting this account up to $1,000 first goal, then 5,000 next goal, well 3,000 next goal, and then 5,000. All right, you just follow along, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and they'll show up more in your, your main hub when you log on to YouTube. So go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave them below or email me at the email address in the description. All right, guys, take care.